always amazing how a project starts after getting a client brief. You go back into the office and you sit with a black paper and you start to sketch. So I remember we had different options and different proposals. Welcome at Linda. I'm Willichi Vilana and I'm the managing principal of Linda Design Studio. I'm going to talk about Scatter. It's a project that we have designed in Kitwichiro. It's an apartment building. But before let me get to the background of the design, actually when you look at the informal settlements that we have in the country, you can see that the informal settlements surrounds the major economic activities. For example, when you look at the central business district, Moji, you see that there is Hima, there is Gitega, there is Emirambo, and those informal settlements actually are where the people who works from the city live. They now have been commissioned to design into one of those settlements, and when you have a small plot, you see that the settlement keeps dominating the plot. So one of the main purposes was to design a building which actually doesn't contradict to how the people have found their way of living and their way of construction. So the first approach was to see what exists into that community and take some advantages from it, and then make it one of elements that we can use into design. Talking about the site itself, it's located in a mixed-use zone according to the master plan of Kigali. So that means you mix living and commercial activities. So when you see into the neighborhood, they have shops on the main road, and we noticed that we should also apply the same principle of having a shop that is close to the road. The apartments that the owner wanted to develop was for rent. It was not for selling. So when you analyze the people who rent into this neighborhood are mainly the people who works nearby and who can access their work locations easily. So mostly they are the people who rent single bedrooms and 2 bedrooms. Few of them can rent 3 bedrooms because that's actually a family. So what we have noticed is that we needed to have more of single bedroom and 2 bedrooms typologies. The main approach was to take those units and those typologies as an element that you can find into this neighborhood. And then the way we arranged it was a way that is similar to these settlements, and we tried to somehow regulate it but without being too much formal, and that's what shapes the whole composition, and that's why actually when you see it, it looks like a hill. It looks like a hill that is composed with these units that you can pick from the neighborhood and use it, and that's even where the name scatter came from. It's like taking different units and then arrange them in a scattered way to form the whole as a single composition. One of the other goals that we wanted to achieve throughout the whole design was not to have something that is tall compared to the human scale. So that's why we stepped, as you go higher, then it steps back, so that someone who stands in front of the building will not feel as if it's something very huge and very tall that is in front of him. If I talk about the site planning of Scatter building, the first goal was to have shops on the level of the road, and the site had a slope. That means if we have shops on the level of the road and in front of the building, it means we had also to find a way to park. So the parking is taking a reference of the road as ground floor. The parking was to be put on the first floor, but behind the shops. So that means cars takes a ramp up and then they park above. So even though this building looks like a stepping hill, but the parking is actually underground, underneath all the apartments. There is a common restaurant and bar that acts as a shared facility, common facility for the people who live into Scatter. And these facilities are actually created to help people who live inside, so that they don't need to take a long way going into restaurant and bar. This was one of the very challenging projects that we have designed. It was in the beginning of our career, and it was a big project, and we were not even confident that we could get a construction permit. But surprisingly, when we submitted, we got the permit immediately without any comment or feedbacks from the city. I remember we have drafted different proposals, and none of them could convince us as a team. Everyone was trying to put our ideas together, and since we knew what we wanted to achieve, so we had just an abstract. I remember one day we decided to go back on site and to find more inspirations, and I remember we went to the opposite hill and we could see our site, and we went back into the office. We worked, we decided to stay to the office until we finish at least a concept that we can be convinced that it works. It was like 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. at night, and when we got to sketch this idea, this concept, everyone was really convinced that it's the right one to go with, and we developed it until we got to present to the first presentation with the client, and he immediately accepted the concept, and we moved forward. We have 20 apartment units and 5 shops with a restaurant and a bar. And currently we have obtained construction permit from the city of Kigali, and we are looking forward to start this project.